name is CJ King, PDJ number 37832. This is my in the bag for the 2020 season, at least the beginning of it. Newly signed player to the DGA Flex team, and this is what's in my bag. We'll start with putters.
That's all I ever wear.
Actual putting putters, I have two different molds. The main mold that I'm using inside the circle is the Steady BL. I have two of them. I like to use them kind of interchangeably so that they, kind of beat in at the same pace, so that I always know exactly what I've got. The next one, a little bit more for outside the circle, and with the way that the Steady's been flying, might not stay in the bag for the full 2020 season, but I do have a Titanic. I used to throw a lot of Discraft, and it's just like the Discraft Magnet. Just a real straight flying putter, really good for those longer straight putts that you're trying to hit. I have three other putters that I use to throw. First one is a SP Line Reef. This is the Discraft APX mold. Doesn't quite fly like an APX. The Reef actually flies a little bit straighter, a little bit more overstable than what the APX does. So if you're looking for a really straight flying disc, one that you can throw with a little bit of power and still rely on it to go pretty straight, definitely check out a Reef. The next disc that I have, this is my overstable putt and approach disc. I have a DGA Breaker, very good disc. The SP line, I like that, a little bit extra stability in the SP line for the breaker. Works really well for some touch forehand approaches. The last disc that I have is the DGA Blunt Gum Putt. It is literally a rubber disc, and it is so much fun to play around with. Wherever it hits, it just sits. This thing doesn't know how to go anywhere once it touches the ground. So if I have a shot where I really need to focus on not going too far, but I still need to get a full throw in, that's probably the disc I'm going to pull out. Next we get into the mid-range. I have 5 discs in here for mids. We'll start with my understable ones. We've got 2 squalls, and I say understable, but they're really not understable. They fly really well, kind of a point and shoot disc for a power player, kind of a hybrid between a mid and a fairway. Works really well, just a little bit of a hyzer. They pop up, go really flat, straight for a long ways, and have a decent amount of finish at the end of the flight. I have a Pro line and an SP, and I find that with this particular mold, the Pro line is a little bit more stable than the SP. Next, my slightly overstable mid, I have SP line Aftershock. This is actually a disc that I've been really kind of looking for. I've been looking for a mid that kind of fit right between a Buzz and a Wasp, and the Aftershock really kind of fills that spot. So if you're looking for a mid that's a little bit more stable than a Buzz but not quite as stable as a Wasp, definitely check out an Aftershock. They're really good. Next, I have 2 of them in the bag right now. I don't really need 2 in the bag, but I really like having 2 in the bag. I have 2 Quakes, really good for that mid-range forehand disc. Flat, low profile. It's got a little bit more of a rounded edge underneath, so it fits in the hand really nicely. Kind of a compliment to the Buzz OS, but for whatever reason, a lot of people tend to favor the Quake as far as feel in the hand. For whatever reason, the Quake just sits better in a lot of people's hands. And this disc, I actually feel more comfortable throwing backhand with it than I did the Buzz OS, and it's still really good, smooth, controllable for that forehand shot. And then I have a brand new one in here that I haven't really even started seasoning in yet, but very good forehand mid. Next, we get onto the fairway drivers. I have 3 discs that I use for fairways at the moment. Still being a new team member to DGA, I'm still working on some of the different molds that they have as far as the fairways go. But for now, I have a pipeline in the SP plastic, and I really am finding more and more that I like this disc a lot, especially in the SP line. I was a little hesitant about it because I've thrown this a few times in the Pro line like a year ago, and the Pro line was really flippy. The SP line though, I could throw out on a pretty healthy hyzer and it'll pop up to flat and just ride real straight and have a very forward moving hyzer finish at the end. Very good Wingz disc tunnel type shots. I've been loving it for that. The next 2 discs that I have in the bag, they really feel like they're the same mold. I have a machete and a Hellfire. Use them both for forehands, and really I'm just keeping the machete in the bag still because I don't have a Hellfire that's anywhere near as beat up as what my machete is. But mostly forehands. I will throw them backhand for kind of that spike hyzer dump type of a shot. Really good disc. Hellfire's definitely my go-to forehand driver at the moment. Next, we get into the distance drivers and kind of the control drivers. I have 2 Rogues in the bag. I kind of use these a little bit more for a fairway driver type shot, but they do consistently go longer than my fairways. But I really like the Rogue for a lot of the forehands. I have 2 of them, the Pro line, which is a little bit flippier, and then SP line, which is a little bit more stable. And again, for that forehand, it'll come out on a hyzer, stand up, maybe drift a little bit, but always has a predictable finish to it. Same with the Pro line. And for backhands, I'll use the Pro line a little bit more for like big turnover shots. I'm kind of excited to get this out in the field in the summer and check it out for some rollers too. Next, the kind of stable distance driver, DGA Hurricane. If I throw this thing flat, I can get it to hold a turnover and just never come out. But at the same time though too, if I throw it on a hyzer and really lay into it, it'll pop up to flat, maybe drift out a little bit and have a predictable finish at the end. It's been a bit of a surprise lately. When this first came out years ago, I did check one out and I thought it was just too flippy, but lately, especially in this SP line, this has actually been a really good, long, straight flying disc for me. Next, I've got DGA's fastest disc, the Torrent in the SP line. I don't throw this for backhands a ton. I actually prefer to throw this one forehand. And similar to the Rogue, just a lot longer. Throw it on that forehand with that little bit of a hyzer. It pops up, it'll drift out, stall, and have a nice, smooth hyzer finish back. If I throw this backhand, usually it's going to be for a pretty long shot. I've got a wide open field or something, and I'm just going for max distance. The last disc that I have in my bag is ESP Nuco S. This is the overstable disc, overstable distance driver that I have. Very overstable. If I need something to skip, if I need something to, spike hyzer over something, if I need to fight a 20-30 mile an hour headwind, chances are I'm pulling this disc out. It's fast, it's overstable. I'm really hoping and looking forward to the time when DGA can come out with something that's close to this. But yeah, the last disc that I have is just kind of an overstable workhorse, Nuco S. So that's everything in my bag. I want to give a shout out to my sponsors, Wingz Disc Golf, Ridge Roller Customs made this bag here. Great bag, lots of room, lots of storage. DGA, the newest sponsor that I signed up with, and Riverside Disc Golf. Alright, once again, I'm CJ King, and that was my In the Bag. Stay tuned throughout the 2020 season for more updates on me and some of the rest of the team members.